Good morning, everybody. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. Hi, that's my face. How you doing? Excuse me. Welcome to Tuesday on the show. And, I was expecting to be talking today about a big, all the big Martin Luther King Day celebrations and speeches. I was hoping to cover one by the President of the United States. And what was weird is when I went to go look for that this morning, I didn't, because I didn't really pay attention to much of that yesterday. But when I went to look for it this morning, there was only on the White House website, there's only a 2-minute and 39-second clip of this president speaking on Martin Luther King Day. And I was like, wait a minute, did he not do an address? Like, this would be his roundhouse, right? Everyone thinks the Democrats are the great civil rights leaders of the country. And I thought, well, wouldn't there be a full speech? And I was like, I couldn't figure out why. And in fact, yesterday, when I was looking on the internets, there was a whole lot more about things Joe Biden said in the past than what he said yesterday. And, boy, I don't know. It was really weird. So what little there is, we'll look at. And but here's the thing. When Joseph Rahim Biden was running for president, he really tried to make himself I don't know how to explain it. I mean, he thought he was going to be this unifying president, right? And all I see from Joseph Rahim Biden is divisiveness. I mean, you think Trump was divisive, but Trump. I respect the President Trump for the policies and things he tried to put through. He was a bit of a clown, though, and everyone knew that. That was his persona. He wasn't out there to be nice. But Joe came in saying, we want everything to be so better. I'm gonna be this unifying guy. And he has these flourishes of you know how sundowners have a habit of just lashing out at people once in a while? And I'm just like, he's everyone. So there's this last week of different times he's talking where sometimes he tries to sound unifying, but then he uses Martin Luther King to push Democratic agenda, which is fine. I understand. He thinks that, the voting rights the democracy is at risk. They're trying to stop black people from voting, which I still haven't figured out where they came up with that conclusion based on some of the laws that some of these states are putting together. I was like, okay, if I would live in that state, would that make it harder for me to vote? And I'm reading all these laws and I'm like, not even in the least. It has nothing to do with, I don't know. It's just weird. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit about Biden, and then I just kind of have a mishmash of other items to look at if I get to them. If not, I have several articles that are going to be in the tab today. So even if I don't get to them, check out the one tab link after the show. I add that link, during the outro, and I let you know when it is. But or you can come back later and check out the tab and see what other articles I've linked in that article. Linked within the link, the one tab, and check those out. So anyway, so that's what the show's going to be about today. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. All right, let's stop that music. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Tuesday, the 18th of January, 2022, and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm happy that I'm here. I'm just, we're all just having a fabulous week. Yesterday we celebrated the, I don't even know what the official name of the Martin Luther King Day holiday is. It's just become colloquially, I don't know, known as the Dr. Martin Luther King Day, right? But I was wondering, because there's so many people who are involved in the Civil Rights Act, or excuse me, Civil Rights era, right? And so I always thought, it should be, if the official name should be they can name it after Martin Luther King, but I think it should be the Martin Luther King National Civil Rights Day, holiday or whatever they want to call it. And it may be called that. I don't know. Is there an official name? Does anyone know the official name of that holiday? But anyway, I was expecting some soaring speeches and all kinds of things going on. But there was other things that happened yesterday that were just well, first of all, we'll talk about the president's speech, because at least what I can find of it, because I didn't get to hear it. And in fact, I saw more of his speech from Atlanta, right? He had, what? Brother-in-law? What's going on? What brother-in-law? What? Oh, brother-in-law. Oh, that's not good, TOS. Anyway, and by the way, nice to see you, Shroom. I haven't seen you in the chat for a while. So, yesterday, I'm looking, I do a lot of research on using Twitter, because that's a lot of the up-to-date stuff. And I saw more posts about his speech in Atlanta, where he was invoking George Wallace and Bull Connor and what was the other? Oh, Jefferson Davis. He said, like, if you weren't on the side of this, if you're not, you could be on the side of, and you can be on our side, or you can be like those other Democrats that were just from back in the day. You can be like current Democrats, or you can be the old Democrats, right? I don't even think he realized he was still talking about Democrats. In fact, I know I'm really going off on just kind of a weird tangent here, but Joe Biden, he mentioned George Wallace, and yet, as recently as the campaign season for his election, right, when he's running for president, he was talking about the need for a George Wallace type liberal. And I was like, and everyone's eyes went, what? I'll show you, I promise. And he also, let's remember, he gave the eulogy for Robert Byrd. Now, granted, maybe, just maybe, we understand that Robert Byrd changed his mind about what he had done in his past, right? But he was a recruiter for the Ku Klux Klan. And he led the filibuster against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And Joe Biden used to describe Robert Byrd as one of his mentors, one of the great men in the Senate. Now I get it. Robert Byrd changed his tune eventually, but still, imagine all the people. Why hasn't Robert Byrd's been completely canceled by the left? I mean, maybe they have, I don't know. And also, Joe Biden's a guy who was anti-desegregation. Now, would I say that he's a segregationist? I don't know. But I know he didn't want his children to grow up in a racial jungle. That's this Joe Biden. And I'm not even 100% sure. Oh yeah, and also he wrote the 96 or 94? Whatever year that was, the crime bill. Remember that? This is that Joe Biden. And yet, as I watch people react to Joe Biden on the internet right now, you'd think he was the savior to black people. He's protecting black. I don't understand it. It's just weird. Okay. All right. So we're going to get into this Biden speech. Let's say good morning to the people in the chat. I see a lot of people that I'm happy to see. I don't see all the time, but I'm glad you're here. First in the chat today is Somnambule Nation, who gets the bell. Thank you for being here. And also, I think you've already tweeted out the show. Is that correct? I know you usually do, but I think I saw it. Let me check my notifications here. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. By the way, please share the stream before, during, or after the stream. It doesn't matter. We love it when people watch the show afterwards, and I usually try to acknowledge people who throw a comment in the comment section. Yes, Somnable Nation did, Skookum did, Tyler F. Thank you for sharing out the stream. Also, good morning to Select a Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Mike Savage, Blarg, Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, Duck Dog, who reminds me that I'm late. Yes, I know. Sometimes I'm late at work and stuff. Anyway. Also, good morning, James Colley. Good morning to my I'm sorry, Don Julio, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Tyre Alexander, what's up? LA Prepper, nice to see you back. Also, let's see, I said Duck Dog, it's in there. Oh, Rob Rajvi is a bot or a spammer, so we'll just get rid of the spammer there. Also, good morning to Stephanie, what's happening? Also, DI Freighter Watcher, nice to see you. Random American. The Shrooms in the house, aka TOS. Good morning. Aaron Meredith, what's happening? I saw Russ John. There's Russ Johns. Hi, Russ Johns. Good to see you, my friend. And yes, by the way, follow Russ Johns. He has a really good show on just talking about it's called the Pirate Network, and it's if you're thinking about streaming, because a lot of people ask me, questions about, I'm thinking about starting streaming. Russ is a good person to watch to talk about that. He talks to a lot of different people who do stream for different reasons, and it can be, there's some of this, I've been doing this for 3 years and I still get some great information from that show. So check out Russ Johns. Also, let's see. Am I got everybody? That's everybody who's here. People's Front of Canada's in the house. Welcome. And Cool Frog, great to see you. Lord Stanhope. I hope I didn't miss any, but I'll try to catch up. Anyway, let's talk about Joseph Rahim Biden's address yesterday. And it's weird because there's nothing there. This is the White House YouTube channel. And if he did a full speech, I certainly don't know about it, because all I got is a 2 minute and 38 second clip of possibly what he was talking about. So did anyone see the actual speech that he made from yesterday? I don't know. If it was it only 2 minutes and 38 seconds? You would think that he'd have a little bit more of a speech, but apparently he didn't, or this was all it was. So anyway, here it is. We're gonna watch this 2 minutes and 38 seconds. I don't know if I'm gonna stop this or not. Because I didn't really hear this one, because like I said, there were more clips of things he said in the past than what he said yesterday. So I guess we'll figure it out. Here we go.
Last week, Vice President Harris and I visited Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, you did visit Atlanta, Georgia. And a lot of people are talking about your speech last week more than this one yesterday. So and we'll get to that in a minute.
The cradle of civil rights in America.
The cradle of civil rights in America. Maybe the cradle of the civil rights movements of the 60s. But in theory, or what it should be, is that Washington, D.C. is the cradle of civil rights in America. Actually, all of America should be the cradle of civil rights, because, the civil rights, that the Founding Fathers talk about, the government is there to maybe, what's the word? Enable the civil rights that you should already have, your God-given rights, or whatever you want to call it, your creator-given rights, whatever you want to call it, your Gaia-given rights, but whatever natural rights that you have as a human being. But I understand he means the cradle of the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s, roughly, because that's where Dr. King was from. But you remember, you know what people forget? Okay, so I got in an argument on Twitter, which, of course I do. Well, let me, wait. I know this is a tangent, but it's a tangent. I'm going to do it anyway. Got a little spat on the Twitter machine the other day, because I tend to do that. And it was with this person who, seemed to have, a really, really poor grasp of history. Okay. And let's see. Let me see if I can find it, because I just it'll take me a second. But I find this relevant to what we're talking about today, because this person really didn't know what they were talking about. Let me show you here. I guess I have to go on my notifications to find it, because here we go. So there was this person. Oh, excuse me. Whoa. That's not what I wanted. Hang on. That's not what I wanted. This one. Here we go. So this is if you know who the Cochran is, he got in an argument with somebody on Twitter talking about how no, wait. I guess I do need to preface this a little bit, because this conversation went kind of in a weird direction. Good morning, San and Jethro Hetero, by the way, and Special Can Acid and Tyler F. This conversation about the quartering went in a weird direction. So apparently they were talking about Ethan Klein, who had some argument, made some stupid thing about Jordan Peterson, how he deleted his Jordan Peterson videos because Jordan Peterson was a gateway to the alt-right and the, insurrectionists, I guess. And then they, this big stink went up on Twitter because for some reason Ethan Klein needs attention. And then now apparently Jordan Peterson's going to come on a show with Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker. Apparently they have a new show, and it's kind of like this grift. And I don't know if they're going to be dicks to Jordan Peterson, which is likely. But anyway, so there was a big conversation about that. Well, it got to this point where someone said that the Cochran is right wing. And someone says, well, what have you ever said that wasn't right wing? And to which he responded, well, he's pro-choice. The Cochran is pro-choice, whatever. But then this conversation came up. What's wrong with being right wing? What makes your ideology any better? Lincoln was right wing. Was Lincoln bad? Now, I don't know if Lincoln was right wing or what. There's a whole different concept of right wing or any wings back then. It was a completely different day. But this person named Jim Kelly said Lincoln was a liberal under the conservative banner. Now, again, the Republicans wasn't a conservative banner either. It was just a different time, okay? We don't think of it the same way as we did then. But he said Lincoln was a liberal under the conservative banner. This was a thing for a long time until Republicans started to act like fascists 60 years ago. Now, I take great umbrance to people who use the word fascist right now, because they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about when they say fascist. Oops, I swore. See, it got me. Republicans started to act like fascists 6 years ago. I'm thinking, wait a minute. First of all, Republicans don't act like fascists now. Fascist is kind of state control of certain things, and honestly, if you really think about it, the left today is much more like the fascist of the 40s, the actual fascism movement. If you look at the definition of fascism, wanting the government to control everything that is business and whatnot, and there's a socialism aspect to fascism, but that's a whole political science discussion, which I'm not going to get into. But my immediate thought was, well, wait a minute. Let me think. He said 60 years ago. 60 years ago, well, 60 years ago would have been 1962, right? And I was thinking, around that time, which is the basically the middle of the Civil Rights Movement, you go from Eisenhower, who desegregated the schools in Little Rock, Arkansas, and the Republicans at the time were more likely to vote for civil rights legislation than Democrats were, because Democrats are actually the ones who were fighting the civil rights legislation. Now, it wasn't necessarily the Northern Democrats, but it was the Southern Democrats. And really, the country was not so much divided left and right at the time. And there was, I don't want to go this too deep, but Democrats didn't, the geographical difference between Democrats and Republicans was more east and west versus northeast and south and certain states in between, right? Now, obviously, Democrats tend to dominate the coast, the east and west, and Republicans tend to be in flyover country. Back then, Democrats were the coast, the left coast, the right coast, from New York down into the south, the southeast states. The South, which were your Southern Democrats, and your Northern Democrats made up the Democrats. And the Republicans tended to be in the West. And so I'm thinking, wait a minute. Republicans started to act like fascists 60 years ago. And so someone asked, what exactly did they do in the 1960s that was so bad and made them fascists? And he says, protesting the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a pretty big fascist move. And I thought to myself, anyone who knows even a little bit of history knows that the people who were protesting the Civil Rights Act of 1964 were people that were mentioned by Joe Biden, Bull Connor, George Wallace, even Jefferson Davis. Well, that's long before that, but and Robert Byrd, the man that Joe Biden gave the eulogy for. He led the filibuster of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It was one of the longest filibusters, I think, in congressional history. That's why I always laugh, because they're talking about trying to get rid of the filibuster now because they want to push through an agenda. Democrats were the masters of the filibuster, right? So I thought to myself, well, hey, man, you might want to look some shit up before you tweet again. He said to me, his reply was, you haven't read a history book, have you? Republicans overwhelming was against the Civil Rights Act. They invented the war on drugs to keep POC down. They used the war on drugs to arrest progressive leaders. And I'm thinking, whoa, hold up. Again, all you need to know is a little bit of history to know that Republicans voted for the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in a much higher percentage than Democrats did. But I don't think he knew that. And so I'm like, you keep proving my point. Again, do some research and get back to me. You can start with the Civil Rights Act of 1957, proposed by Dwight D. Eisenhower, Republican. Then 1960, again, Eisenhower, they were strengthening the first Civil Rights Act. And who wrote them and who voted for them in higher percentage? Republicans. Who led the filibuster against the 1964 Civil Rights Act and who voted for it in higher percentage? Democrats filibustered it. Republicans voted for it in a higher percentage. So he comes back with, you realize Democrats in the 50s and 40s are just modern day Republicans, right? Oh, really? Are they now? See, this is that myth, okay? There's this myth that the parties switched in the 60s. The Southern Dixiecrats all became Republicans after the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Well, that is false. Now, one Democrat who did change parties, and he became a prominent Republican later, and that would be Strom Thurmond. And he was part of that group that was filibustering the 1964 Civil Rights Act. But the others didn't. Robert Byrd was a Democrat until he died. In fact, he was in the Senate that long. I think he was in the Senate, wasn't he in the Senate 50 years? And his eulogy was done by none other than Joe Biden. William Fulbright. Remember that? And have you ever heard of the Fulbright Scholarship? William Fulbright. Ever hear of him? That person in fact, Bill Clinton considers William Fulbright his mentor. William Fulbright was a Democratic senator who filibustered the 1964 Civil Rights Act. He was a segregationist. And Bill Clinton thinks of him as a mentor. And in fact, if you actually follow history or you follow politics for any time at all, you would also know that Democrats did not jump over to be Republicans in droves in the 60s. They didn't in the 70s. They didn't for most of the 80s. In fact, those Democrats that were still in the legislature in 1964 dominated Southern politics for the next 20 years. The turnover from Democrat to Republican didn't happen until the 80s, when Ronald Reagan was one of the few Republicans who basically, well, the thing is, Ronald Reagan in 80 won almost every state. I think he lost 3 states. One of them was Minnesota. Another was Georgia. Georgia did not vote for Ronald Reagan. But I thought those were the Southern District. I thought the parties changed. Well, Democrats dominated the South well into the late 80s. So there wasn't a big switch like everyone talks about. But they love to say that. Boy, do they love to say, well, the parties switched. Not really. The parties had different priorities, but they didn't switch. And in fact, the Democrats have always been the party of let's have more and more and more government. And the Republicans, well, no, let me make this caveat though, because when the Republicans started, it was literally an anti-slavery party. But in the 1900s, it was the Democrats who always wanted to give the government more power, take over more things. And in fact, during the Great Depression, you had Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was also very racist, by the way, who's the one who really got the ball rolling as far as the growing of government, and it continued to grow. Now, unfortunately, both parties love to grow government. I believe that perhaps the greatest thing that could happen is if the party that's the lesser government in your lives party would be the Republicans. If they would just take a year and start repealing laws for, if they take over, they win 22, they win 24, and then spend 1 year just repealing bullshit laws. That would be a great start. But it ain't going to happen. So one of the reasons I would much rather prefer the Republicans to win is because they're, I would, at least in my mind, less likely to continue to grow the behemoth of government. Now, let's get back to whatever the hell I was talking about before we did this, before I went into that tangent. And let's go back to Mr. Joseph Rahim Biden and this very short clip of his Martin Luther Day King speech, I guess. The description here says, President Biden delivers remarks honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and calling on Americans to commit to his unfinished work of delivering jobs and justice and protecting the sacred right to vote. The sacred right to vote. I bet he uses the word democracy in this speech. Do you think he'll use the word democracy in this speech? All right, let's go back to Joseph Rahim Biden. I'll start this over since I only got in about, how far did I get? I got 5 seconds in. Let's see if I can get past 5 seconds of Joseph Rahim Biden.
This week, Vice President Harris and I visited Atlanta, Georgia, the cradle of civil rights in America. We paused and prayed at the crypt of Dr. and Mrs. King.
Okay.
We met members of their family, Dr. Bernice King, Martin Luther King III, his wife, Andrea, his daughter, Yolanda. We met students who were changing the world, just like generations of young people before them had done that. In fact, Dr. King was just one of those young people, 15-year-old student at Morehouse College when he began his journey to fulfill the promise of America for all Americans. A promise that holds that we're all created equal and deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives. Dr. King wasn't just a dreamer of that promise, he was a doer. And on this federal holiday that honors him, it's not just enough to praise him. We must commit to his unfinished work, to deliver jobs and justice, to protect.
To deliver jobs and justice. What does that mean, Joe? What does that mean? Are you saying that? I don't know what that means. Are we to force people into making life commitments that they just aren't willing to make? Just force people into whatever? David McDowell, yes, equity. By the way, good morning, sir. And Aaron Meredith, how you doing? I don't know if I've missed anybody yet, but anyway, anyway, this, at least it's not a divisive speech so far. Let's see if he's, I'm pretty sure he's going to use this to sell a Democratic bill, which, whatever.
Protect the sacred right to vote, the right from which all other rights flow.
I can't figure out exactly who's not able to vote under these new voting laws either. I'm still trying to figure that out. Maybe I should just do a day of looking at the different laws that are being proposed in certain states and figure out if I would still be able to vote in those states, because someone was saying that they're trying to take away the vote of millions of black people. And I resemble that remark because, melanin and shit. So I'm trying to figure out which of these laws, if I lived in Georgia, would I still be able to vote? I don't even know. Sounds like the way, if you listen to Democrats, I would not be able to vote in Georgia. I think.
The attack on our democracy is real.
Oh, the attack on our democracy. Oh, here he goes. See, they have the closed captioning in a little bit early. Black Hebrew Israelite, how you doing?
That's right.
Nice to see you. I'm sorry, let me go back a little bit. The attack on our democracy.
Right from which all other rights flow. The attack on our democracy is real. From the January 6th insurrection to the onslaught of Republicans' anti-voting laws in a number of states.
Anti-voting laws? What? Do they have anti-voting laws in some states? Are they going to take away the right of people to vote in some states? I haven't seen that yet. But the insurrection to Republican anti-voting. This is a Martin Luther King Day speech. Does that sound unifying to you? I don't know. But yeah, I didn't know they're taking away. I wonder what states I wouldn't be able to vote in.
It's no longer just about who gets to vote. It's about who gets to count the vote.
And so are you saying who gets to count the vote would change how, if it's counted correctly? I'm not sure what that means.
And whether your vote counts at all.
Oh, or whether your vote counts at all? Are they saying they can negate legal votes in some of these states? Is that what they're trying to do? I got to look this up a little closer.
It's about two insidious things.
Voter
suppression and election subversion.
So this is the Martin Luther King speech, and he has a unifying speech here talking about two subversive things that apparently some people are doing, and they're trying to take away your vote. Apparently they're trying to negate your vote. They're trying to make it so I can't vote in America. Well, that's terrible, man. That's terrible, man. Oh boy, I'm scared. Boy, he loves to talk. He tries to make you scared about everything. You notice that? Everything he does is trying to make you scared of shit. Okay.
In his time, through his courage, his conviction, and his commitment, Dr. King held a mirror up to America.
Wait. Oh, in his time. I thought it said it is time.
His conviction and his commitment. Dr. King held a mirror up to America.
Yes, he did.
He forced us to answer the question, where do we stand?
Okay.
Whose side are we on?
Oh, is he going to talk about those
We're in
guys
another
again?
moment right now.
Wait a minute, is he going to talk about Bull Connor again? Is he going to talk about George Wallace and Jefferson Davis, are you on their side? Because the White House kind of walked that back a little bit, and a couple senators had his back saying, well, no, he didn't really mean that you would be like those people. He just said, well, it's the dumbest argument I've ever heard, but anyway. Good morning, Ken and Hotep, my brother. How you doing? Thank you for sponsoring the show today. I appreciate you. Who says, salute. Salute to you too, sir. Who says, I did a short video on the voting laws back in March. I will have to check that out. Thank you. I'll have to check that out. I think I remember that one, but thank you for sponsoring the show. And we may even feature that tomorrow. Who knows? Thank you, sir. Okay, let's see what else Raheem here says.
Where the mirror is being held up.
We're in another moment right now where the mirror is being held up.
To America.
At least he didn't bring on that George Wallace, Bull Connor, and Jefferson Davis bullshit, because he got a little flack for that the other day.
Being held up again.
Is it now?
The question being asked again. Where do we stand? Whose side are we on?
Okay.
Will we stand against voter suppression?
Okay, again, what voter suppression? And I'm going to stick with Georgia, because here's the thing. You know the thing.
You know the thing.
So in Georgia, they made all these, kind of just made up on the fly laws. And a lot of these states during the stupid 19 thing from last year and during 2020, made up all these things where, now we're going to do this. We're going to have these voting, mail out ballots, everybody, and everyone's going to just bring it in, and they're going to allow, even though they say they're not allowing vote harvesting, it happened, and that's a fact. And they're starting to look at that in Georgia, how people were just, filling up them voter boxes at, midnight to 5 in the morning. And again, I don't know. Oh shoot! Now I lost my damn thing. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you again, Can of Hotep, for sponsoring the show, who said I also did a video on him saying Floyd's ending was more pivotal than MLK's. Yeah, that... yeah, I got a couple clips of that, too, and I might pull that one up today. Thank you again for sponsoring the show, sir. Greatly appreciated, as always. What did Raheem here say again? Let's see. Whose side are we on? Okay, here, I'll go from here.
Side are we on? Will we stand against voter suppression?
Okay, and again, voter suppression. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So, the Georgia laws, for example, you had all these laws that, not even laws, they changed, like on the fly, without legislation, how people were going to vote in 2020. So now a lot of these states are going back and saying, okay, wait, yeah, that's a one-time thing. We're actually going to go back and codify how these new things that we're doing for voting are going to work, and we're gonna we're not going to just go 6 weeks of voting like this, and mail out all these ballots. We're going to have some rules for it now. So now, and I'm going to take Georgia again for example. So instead of having this huge window of time that people do it, they narrowed it down to a certain amount of time that you could do this absentee balloting stuff. And so they're calling that voter suppression. They're saying IDs are voter suppression. They're saying that, not having, making ballot harvesting an illegal act, because people should be able to vote on their own. But there's still, the voting laws in Georgia are less restrictive than the voting laws in Delaware, Joe Biden's home state. But they're saying that Georgia is engaging in voter suppression. So that's what's going on right here.
Yes or no? Will we stand against election subversion? Yes or no?
Election subversion. So you're saying you cannot question? An election? I said that. I left that pause because I don't want YouTube to think I'm questioning an election, because I'm not. But anyway, hi Lexi, how you doing?
Will we stand up for an America where everyone is guaranteed the full protections and the full promise of this nation?
Haven't we been working on that? You know, it's funny, the full protection and the full promise. Please tell me what I'm not allowed to do in this country if I set my mind to it because of that stuff. Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Yes or no?
And, you know, because, never mind.
I know where I stand.
Really? Are you sure? Because there's a whole lot of times where I'm not sure if you know where you are. Period. Like, period. Hello, Kessler.
It's time for every elected official in America to make it clear where they stand.
Is it?
It's time for every American to stand up, speak out, be heard.
Aaron Morgan is getting a slurry. The speech is going too long.
Where do you stand?
Where do you stand?
Whose side are you on? On this day of remembrance.
Do I have to be on your side, Joe? Because I'm not feeling it, brother. Sorry.
Service and action. May God bless Dr. and Mrs. King and their family. And may God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
That whole, okay, so he did that weird "May God protect our troops" thing again. Do we have any troops that are in? Because we're out of Afghanistan. Are we technically out of Iraq yet? I guess not. I don't know. Anyway, so let's take that, okay, and then let's go look at some other things Mr. Biden has said in recent dates. For example, let's see. Let's find this little. Well, there's. Well, here, I'm going to pull up Hope Tip Jesus first, because this is what, well, oh, here it is. Nope, I'm not. Here's what I'm going to do. So Joseph Biden, that was a speech for Martin Luther King Day. Now, here's something he said the other day. Let's take a look at this, what he said the other day in Atlanta when, here, let me make this, can I expand this? Yes, I can. Here, we're going to make this on full screen. So here's what he said in Atlanta, because he wasn't quite as divisive yesterday, but when he kept saying, which side are you on, he made this weird comparison here. This is interesting. Here we go.
Right to vote, our democracy against all enemies, foreign and yes, domestic. Consequential moments in history.
Oh wait.
They present a choice.
This is not the one.
Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King?
Oh, yeah, we go.
Or George Wallace? Right.
Now that's interesting, because you see at the bottom here what this says. Senator Joseph Biden of Delaware reminds them that former Alabama Governor George Wallace praised him as one of the outstanding young politicians in America. That was from May 1987. He reminded people that George Wallace praised Joseph Rahim Biden. Now, that's not the clip I meant to play, but that's in the ballpark. Let's go and look at a couple others here, though, of things that Joe Biden said over the last few weeks. Remember, Mr. Unifying, the president who wants to unify the country, some of the things he said. Let me find this here. Okay, hang on. Oh, here. I don't usually like. Okay, that's not the one I wanted to look at. Hang on. Where'd it go? By the way, did you realize that 40% of Joe Biden's first term spent in Delaware? Oh my gosh, where is it? I thought I had these all set up. No, I don't want to talk about Neil Gorsuch. Move Neil Gorsuch over there. Well, here's how the White House talked about this. So since I don't know what I did with that, here's how the White House talked about it. everyone's favorite press secretary, Jen Psaki, to the rescue of Joseph R. Biden on his comments the other day. Here's how she tried to spin this shit.
But as you talked about a year ago and working with Republicans, now he is talking about Republicans that don't agree with voting rights. He's describing them as George Wallace, Bull Connor, and Jefferson Davis. What happened to the guy who, when he was elected, said, to make progress, we must stop treating our opponents as our enemy?
I think everybody listening to that speech who's speaking on the level, as my mother would say, would note that he was not comparing them as humans. He was comparing the choice to those figures in history and where they're going to position themselves if they, as they determine whether they're going to support the fundamental right to vote or not.
What? What? She's not comparing them as humans as opposed to what did she just say? Did anyone know what the hell she was talking about there? She was not comparing. Okay, so yes, they weren't wearing dark gray suits and black skinny ties and they were just the ideas. Well, let me see. I think when you compare people to other people, when you're talking about political ideas, you're probably comparing them to those people with those political ideas, not necessarily the physicality of those people, but just as those people. But she's, that seems to be the spin. Now, in fact, let me find did I have it here? What happened to my bookmarks? By the way, did you know that yesterday the first black woman to serve statewide office in Virginia called the Senate to order yesterday on Martin Luther King Day? Isn't that nice? What's her name? What the hell's her name? Winsome Sears, the lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia. It's weird, though, because there weren't a whole lot of celebrations of her being the first black woman to serve in statewide office. Even that if she was a Democrat, oh my God, you would think she would be getting the Kamala Harris treatment right now, wouldn't she? But no, she's a Republican. She's one of those terrible Republicans. You can't be excited for her. That's just not correct. You got to come correct. Where the hell is this clip that I had ready? Okay, so this is what happens when you have boomer moments. Jefferson Davis, Bull Connor, George Wallace, Robert Byrd, but yeah, they were, by the way, they were all Democrats. Here's a good one. This is the, here's MSNBC giving Biden some, what do you call it when you give him some leeway, you give him some cover, you give him whatever. Here's oh boy, let's listen to this craziness.
With voting rights on the line, President Biden laid out in stark words the choice facing the Senate in a fiery speech in Atlanta.
Do you want to be on the side of Dr. King or George Wallace? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis or Bull Connor? Do you want to be on the side of Abraham Lincoln or Jefferson Davis?
So this is fascinating. This is fascinating. Do you want to be on the side of A, Democrat, or B, Democrat? Everyone he mentioned, well, I don't know if Dr. King was necessarily a Democrat. I know one time he was a Republican. I might have changed to be a Democrat. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what Dr. King's party was. But everyone he described that you don't want to be like were Democrats. Oh, the parties changed in the 60s. No, they didn't. They did not. And remember, Robert Byrd is the guy who led the filibuster of the 1964 Civil Rights Act and who gave his eulogy. This guy, that's the other way. This guy right here gave his eulogy.
Within days, we got an answer. Democratic Senators Kyrsten Sinema and Joe
so Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema on the side of Bull Connor, Jefferson Davis, and George Wallace. Is that what that's about? Or are these two smart enough to play the long game, knowing they're going to get shellacked in the next two elections?
Manchin, members of the president's own party,
Yes.
reiterated their unwillingness to carve out an exception in the filibuster to allow for a simple majority vote on the Freedom to Vote Act or the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act.
Yeah, why should we change the rules? Because you're not getting your way, so we changed the rules. And if you change the rules, what else can you change the rules for? Because the only things they do not allow that filibuster on are budget items. Okay, Voting Rights Act, it's not a budget item. Whoa, that's some serious pause game there on budget items. These are not budget items. So now you're going to be able to change the rules on anything else that your party thinks is important. Just curious.
Joining me now is co-chair of the Congressional Voting Rights Caucus, Congresswoman Terry Sewell, whose Alabama district holds Montgomery.
They told her to smile, so she's trying to smile, but does anyone think that her smile looks real? She's a nice looking lady, but her smile looks really like she's just trying too hard to smile.
Birmingham and
there's
Selma.
A real smile. There you go.
You know, Congresswoman Sewell, in the intro, we played what, to my mind, was the pivotal moment in the president's speech, where he laid down the marker.
This is the pivotal moment. He liked that, didn't he?
Either with John Lewis or you're with Bull Connor. It was stark language, and a lot of people were not happy with that. I would love to, Democrats and Republicans thought he went too far. To your mind, did the president go too far in laying out that stark language?
I don't think he did. You know, I was honored to be with the president and the vice president in Atlanta. And I wanted the president to be emphatic. And he was bold. He was clear. He was clear. He said that,
This is not a good camera angle for her. It's like thank goodness her nose is clean, because if it wasn't, you'd be seeing everything there. Can you put the camera angle above your head a little bit so that you're not looking right up your nose? That's my camera angle's right here, like, as opposed to, from here. I don't want to be looking up your nose. She must be on her computer. She must be on her laptop or something.
you want to be on the
Good God. You're going to be on TV and they're using these remote feeds and you're doing your own shit. You have to put your camera in the right place. Do they not have people teach you how to do the internet? Come on.
right side of history? Do you want to be on the side of John Lewis, or do you want to be on the side of Bull Connor?
All Democrats.
I thought it was a stark comparison, but it was one that was necessary in order to jolt the imagination about where we are in this time in history.
Well, I think that we must have the vote.
Oh, by the way, they're going from different clips to clip. I got to go back to Resist We Much here. Wait, where is it?
Resist we much.
Okay, let's go back to Reverend Al. What the hell's going on here? There we go. Let's get back to finish her off here.
About where we are in this time in history.
Well, I think that we must have the vote.
We must have the votes.
We need to have a roll call.
Oh, he wants to have them actually record their votes in the Senate. Okay. Do you think that's going to change their mind? Do you think that's going to change their mind, Sinema and Manchin? They've been pretty solid on the fact that they're not going to change the filibuster rules for this particular bill. Sorry.
For the American people to see who is going to be on the side of protecting the democratic process and protecting people's right to vote without impediments, and who are going to be on the other side. That's why I think the president was right when he said, are you on Dr. King's side or George Wallace's side, Bull Connor's side, or John Lewis' side, Abe Lincoln's side, or Jefferson Davis?
Do you like this language?
He did not say that they were Jefferson Davis, or they were George Wallace, or they were Bull Connor.
He didn't say they were those people. What did he say then?
He said you're on their side.
Is that what's the phrase? Distinction without a difference or something like that? What? What does that mean? Does that make it better that you're not those people? You're like those people. You're like-minded with those people. Thank you for using my favorite phrase, Dawg. Yes, grievance, grifter, sharp, and the one of the gold standard, the OGs of grievance grifting. What difference does that make? All right, let me bust through some news now. I've talked about that enough. This president, who's supposed to be people write the speeches, and I just don't know what the hell's going on with the speeches. All right, let me see what's here. Thank you. Oh, I do got to show you, though. I got to show you this. Where's the... One of my favorite commentaries on this over the last couple of days has been from none other than our friend Hotep Jesus, who I have said he shoots, he scores. And because a lot of people are saying that what Biden said about George Floyd, remember he said it's about George Floyd. Oh, the George Floyd thing too. Y'all remember when he talked about George Floyd, he said George Floyd's death had a higher impact on the world than Dr. Martin Luther King's death. And I was thinking about that. Oh no. Okay, it's still here. I was thinking about that. A lot of people were saying, nah, that's crazy. That's crazy that he would say that George Floyd's death had a bigger impact on the world than Martin Luther King's death. And I was like, wow, what a crazy thing to say. But then I thought, he didn't say George Floyd's life had a bigger impact on the world than Martin Luther King's death. He said his death did. And, well, if you would have had the same amount of social media, how lightning fast news travels around the world, maybe it would have. But that's irrelevant. No. But then we have the very formal Hotep Jesus' take on this. And I need you to listen to this because this is actually pretty good. But before that, I will say thank you to Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite, for sponsoring the show. And Black Hebrew Israelite, you are the new Streamlamp Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Who says, I remember Joe supports black people with a crime bill in 1994. The eulogy of Robert Byrd, who was a KKK recruiter, and claimed that if you didn't vote for him, he would take away your black card.
That's right.
He ignored Ice Cube on black issues. What an ally.
That's right.
The truth. Yeah, remember that? Because, the president at the time, the guy with the funny hair, sat down with Ice Cube and they came up with the Platinum Plan for Black America. They were just trying to, some issues that were important to Black America. And they sat down and put it on paper. They had tangibles, as Tariq Nasheed would call them. And then they said, Ice Cube got interviewed about that. And, why the hell would you talk to the guy with the funny hair? And he said, well, I'll talk to anybody if there's things that are issues that we think are important, right? And so he did talk to the president of the United States, the guy with the funny hair. But then he said, well, yeah, and I was supposed to talk with the Biden administration. The Biden administration kind of blew me off. He said, yeah, we'll talk to you after the election. It's like, well, okay, I guess so. And then after the election, did they talk? Well, they kind of crossed paths and whatnot and this and that, but they still haven't done anything. And it's like, I thought Joe Biden was the savior of us black folk, but he didn't really want to talk to Ice Cube yet. And so nothing yet. They haven't done anything yet. Of course, they've been dealing with stupid 19 and all, and Joe Biden's had to take more naps than any president in history, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. I appreciate it. So here's a great take though on that thing about what he said a while, or when he was running for president, because this clip kept coming up over and over and over again over the last couple of days too, because people remember him saying this bullshit that George Floyd's death had a greater impact on the world than Dr. Martin Luther King's death. Well, here's just a short clip of the venerable Mr. Hotep Jesus' take on this, and I thought this is actually a pretty damn good take on why perhaps he is right.
Even Dr. King's assassination did not have the worldwide impact that George Floyd's death did.
The only reason why George Floyd's death is bigger than MLK's is because the liberals made it that way.
Ding.
Because Democrats made it that way. Because the socialist, communist, so-called left made it that way. They are the ones that made a big stink. They're the ones that astroturfed George Floyd's murder and made it seem like it was the most egregious thing to ever happen. Why? So they can win an election. What did Nancy Pelosi say? Do we got to find that clip? Let's pull that clip up.
So again, thank you, George Floyd.
Thank you, George
for
Floyd.
sacrificing your life for justice.
How does that even make any sense? George Floyd died for justice, right? And really what she's saying is we've used the Negro plight. They politicized George Floyd's life to win an election.
Even
Facts, as we say in the world of brotherhood, facts. George Floyd was all about Trump, even though George Floyd had nothing to do with Trump. In fact, Trump was doing everything he could to lessen crime and whatnot. But anyway, just, I'm telling you, straight facts, okay? All right, let me get caught up on some others, just headlines and news, and we'll get out of here because if you want to know what's going on in the world. Great article in American Greatness today regarding the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping case. Apparently, the defense for the couple of defendants that weren't FBI agents have now asked for immunity for the FBI agents that were involved. Ooh, that could be a problem for the FBI if they can get any of those agents to testify. The media went wild last week after Joe Biden's Justice Department finally produced a criminal indictment to support the claim that January 6th was an insurrection planned by militiamen loyal to Donald Trump. 11 members of the Oath Keepers, including its founder, Stuart Rhodes, face a rarely used charge of seditious conspiracy for their brief and nonviolent involvement in the Capitol protest that day. Journalists luxuriated the news, jeering those of us who had correctly noted that the Justice Department had failed to charge anyone with insurrection or sedition for more than a year. But the press did not share the same zeal in covering another politically charged investigation, the imploding criminal case against 5 men accused of plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer in 2020. Yes, I called her Whitler on purpose. The kidnapping narrative shares many similarities with their preferred telling of January 6th, not the least of which is that alleged militias incited by Trump attempted to carry out a domestic terror attack. Despite wall-to-wall coverage of the charges of the Michigan case, wall-to-wall coverage after charges of the Michigan case were announced right before Election Day, the corporate media has almost completely memory-holed the abduction caper. Stuart Rhodes is a household name. Stuart Robeson, a convicted felon and the chief FBI informant in the Whitmer case, accused of all sorts of malfeasance, is not. The reason, of course, is that exposing how the FBI set a trap to lure down on their luck men, one of the co-defendants referred to Adam Fox, the alleged plot leader, as Captain Autism, into their kidnapping ruse would run afoul of the media's insistence that the government had nothing to do with the events of January 6th, despite plenty of proof that hundreds of FBI agents and informants were involved before and during the Capitol protest. A top FBI official recently refused under oath to say whether the FBI agents or assets engaged in or incited violent criminal behavior on January 6th. So anyway, what's happening in this case is now the defense is asking for immunity for any of the FBI agents who testified because those FBI agents probably could be in hot water. So they've continued down here. In a stunning move, defense lawyers now want prosecutors to offer immunity not only to their clients, but to FBI agents and informants. A new defense filing took a rare step of asking the judge to order the Justice Department to offer use immunity to every FBI asset involved in the plot, fearing they would invoke their Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination in court. Defense attorneys are attempting to compel testimony that would be immune from prosecution, except charges of perjury. Not a good thing for the FBI that these agents start saying the truth about their mission, so to speak. Anyway, also going on in Portland, apparently there's a police training manual in Portland that calls the Antifa calls them dirty hippies, and the dirty hippies are not happy about it at all. Portland's Antifa terrorist organization, let's see. Where is it? I just was going to skip the beginning of this. By the way, here, Portland's Antifa terrorist organization is responsible for multi-million dollars of damage after members burned, looted, destroyed, intimidated, and assaulted their way through parts of the city in 2021. They are responsible for assassinating a Trump supporter and sending scores of cops to the hospital. You think Portland's mayor, police chief, and other government apparatchiks would be angry about that, and maybe they were, but now they have discovered something far worse to make them really, really angry. Mayor Ted Wheeler, who has been chased by the mob multiple times, had his life threatened and was forced to move because Antifa threats to burn him and his condo neighbors out of their homes, has ordered an investigation. Oh my gosh, it's about damn time he ordered an investigation. Oh, wait a minute. He ordered an investigation into a disgusting image found in a police training manual. The image humorously mocks Antifa. It's very funny. The Portland mayor said in a statement that he is disgusted that this offensive content was added to a training presentation for our police officers. And he added that he is very, very angry about the mockery of the Portland professional protesters. He said as soon as he heard about the training manual, he reached out to Chief Lovell, who shared my deep concern and assured me that a thorough and complete investigation was underway. So where's the image? Right here. Here it is. It says, okay, let me see if I can't blow this up. Here, maybe I can. Hang on. Okay, it says, and the Lord said, woe be unto you, dirty hippie, for thou stinketh of patchouli and B.O. For thou talk of Marx, yet know him not. For thou hast bills, yet have not paid. For thou hast dreadlocks, and white skin. And so I shall send among you my humble servants with hat and with bat, that they may christen your heads with hickory and anoint your faces with pepper spray. And once thou hast been cuffed and stuffed, once thou hast been stitched and bandaged, perhaps thou shalt learn. I'm tired of your shit. Amen. Oh, anyway. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm tired of your shit. So anyway, apparently some people are a little salty about that, and and I say about them, FTG, don't care. That is funny. Yes, it's in the tabs. It'll be there if you want to print out that poem. I might even put that on Twitter today. Apparently, North Virginia. Oh, by the way, the new governor of Virginia was sworn in yesterday. Did y'all hear about that? And there were some people a little mad about something he said. And I wasn't going to bring this up. In fact, I'm going to skip the other tabs and just go to this, and we're going to call this a day. So, some people were mad about some remarks that the governor of Virginia made. And I want to show this to you because this is crazy to me. Let's see. Here it is. Now, here it is. So this person, Connor Rogers, said, go back and tell the Confederates this woman has the gavel at their capital. Her win is a huge deal. Oh, this is, no, I'm sorry. This is the, I'm sorry, wrong tweet. This is one I retweeted. Just congratulations that she made history. Her win was a huge deal and didn't get the history made treatment because of politics, and that's a shame. I agree with her on very little, but you can't deny her seismic imagery here. So this is a Democrat in Virginia who's like saying, why, she didn't get the history made thing because she's a Republican, but people down here are arguing, well, the previous lieutenant governor was black too. Well, she wasn't a black woman. There was a black governor in 1990. Wasn't a black woman. What? No history first? You mean the fact that we've had a black president and then the vice president we have now, they made a big deal about the history of her being the first, whatever she is, woman of color, Indian and black, whatever, vice president. You made a big deal about that. Shouldn't Winsome Sears get the history made treatment? Yeah, why not? So anyway, that's not what I meant to talk about, though. Hang on a second. That's me and my boomer moments. I'll leave that tweet available too, though. I might not have replied to this. It might be just in the bookmarks. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Oh, this was the one. This is it right here. So, this woman named Louise Lucas, who is what is she? Louise Lucas is President Pro Tempore, Senate of Virginia, representing the 18th District. And she was very salty about part of Governor what's his name? Governor Youngkin's speech. In fact, I'm going to play the portion of the speech she tweeted here. And then I'm going to see if you can figure out what it was she was mad about him saying. So here is the part of the speech that she was mad about and she made a tweet about and was very angry. Very, very angry. It was very angry.
We're going to build partnerships between the Commonwealth and our great universities to create lab schools of excellence. It could be a lab school in Southwest Virginia in partnership with UVA-Wise. It could be an entrepreneurship or entertainment industry focused school partnering with one of our amazing historically black colleges and universities. Or a partnership with Old Dominion University for opportunities in offshore.
Okay, now, can you guess why there was an angry tweet about this portion of this speech by the new Governor Youngkin, who is sworn in? I'll give you 10 seconds and you'll probably just type in something. What was so terrible about that portion of the speech? Very, very angry from Louise Lucas, again, the Democrat. I don't know what that means. She's Democrat, whatever. Pissed off that about that part of the speech. And here's the answer. How dare you? HBCU students are not the entertainment industry. As a graduate of Norfolk State, I cannot believe this came out of the mouth of a Virginia governor. Governor of Virginia owes us an apology immediately. Say what? Say what? Okay. Now listen to this again. Now listen to this. Listen one more time. Listen one more time.
We're going to build partnerships between the Commonwealth and our great universities to create lab schools of excellence. It could be a lab school in Southwest Virginia in partnership with UVA-Wise. It could be an entrepreneurship or entertainment industry focused school partnering with one of our amazing historically black colleges and universities.
Okay, so she's mad that he mentioned entrepreneurship, not entrepreneurship, the entertainment industry. Now, let's just talk about a stretch. Okay, this is what's known in the industry as a stretch. By the way, good morning to a new name here, Midget Circus Maine. Nice to meet you. Let's talk about this stretch, okay? She continues. I just reviewed the governor's prepared remarks, and this was not in there. I am extremely disturbed that this is what came into his mind as he spoke. Governor, I will take you anytime to my alma mater, Norfolk State, so you can understand why this is so disturbing and insulting. Okay, what she's trying to say, that she's saying that the governor is saying that the HBCUs are people who teach you to be sing and dance for white people. That's the only way I can see this. She and other people took offense to this after she wrote this. Now remember, he said what they're talking about is making partner with colleges and universities to make public education in Virginia have some, like, we used to call them magnet schools, okay, where they would have a partnership with some of these colleges and universities to get kids interested in other things. And so when he said the HBCUs, he said entrepreneurship and the entertainment industry. Now, let's talk about Norfolk State University, because there's something interesting about Norfolk State University is that they actually recently partnered, because she's saying, oh, the entertainment industry. She's very upset about entertainment industry. And there's people, and listen, I'm looking at this. So some of these people who are replying, I'm going to talk to the negative replies. My husband and I caught that too. What did they catch? Entrepreneurship and entertainment industry. And, realize there's a lot of there's a couple of black billionaires that made their money through the entertainment industry. Is that a bad thing? Hang on, though. Who wants to tell him we already have a partnership? Governor Northam took care of us very well. Well, so did President Trump. You remember how when President Trump funded black colleges and universities? What does that mean? Is it just because he's a Democrat? So you don't, and that's not even, okay, someone here said, that's not even close to what he said. Simmer down. You clearly don't understand dog whistles. We do. You know what? Hello. I'm sorry. If you hear that dog whistle, then you must be a dog. I'm sorry. And so even this is a black woman saying, what do you have against entrepreneurs? Nothing. We would love those partnerships at HBCUs. Not just entertainment. Black votes are not just step and fetch it. They're for folks entertain. Hold on. Now, when I say the words together, not just entertainment, because when I say the word entertainment industry, and I'm talking about kids in college who want to partner teaching kids about the entertainment industry. Of course, he did also say entrepreneurship. But when I think of the entertainment industry, when someone says you're going to have someone in the college talk to you about the entertainment industry, right? When you hear entertainment industry, do you think about the talent side of the entertainment industry or the business of entertainment? Because entertainment's big business, and a lot of colleges have majors in entertainment. In fact, by the way, Norfolk State University, like I said, they have a partnership with Netflix. They just announced it, like, I think last year. It's on one of their pages there on their website. They have a partnership with Netflix to get more people into well, it says tech, but is Netflix part of the entertainment industry? It's just hilarious. People are pissed about. So some people are confused about this. I bet he didn't even campaign in the black community. What the hell does that mean? Oh, by the way, I always wondered what Governor Blackface / KKK Hood thinks about this. When they said Governor Northam already made this partnership, which one was he again in that picture? I'm not really sure. This is called digging deep to be offended. This is grievance grifting right here. You are really digging deep to be offended, because he said entrepreneurship or the entertainment industry. He didn't say nothing about again, when I hear entertainment industry, I hear the business of entertainment, which is big business. In fact, might be the United States one of their largest industries. And it may be the only one left if we keep up with what the Democrats are doing now, sending manufacturing overseas. So anyway, all right. On that note, there's a whole bunch of tabs that I didn't even get to, a whole bunch of stories. If you want to see those, you can go to the description after the show. I'm about to post that in the description. So if you want to wait around during the outro, you can find that link or come back later and click that. That's all I got for today, guys. I'm a little bit late, so I'm going to cut this short. That didn't make sense, but anyway. Y'all have a great day. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. And please hit the like button if you haven't already done that. Share the stream before, during, and after the stream. If you're watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know that you were here and I can say hi. And if you want to sponsor the show like Black Hebrew Israelite and Canon Hotep, you can do that through the Streamlabs link at PDawgKnight.live or YouTube SuperChats or a couple other options down below. It is time to go. Thank you, everybody. My name... Let's not forget radio. Oh yeah, radio's huge too. Anyway, so that's it. I gotta go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.